In this module, we will illustrate how we can calibrate the inspector PI50. What I have in front of the sensor right now is the calibration target, which is merely a checkerboard PDF that you can get from the inspector software CD that comes with the inspector. You notice that the distinct symbology shows up to where the origin is gonna start from, and if I move the checkerboard up and down, that doesn't change that. This is how the system has been configured for that origin to show up next to that top dot. So once I have that centrally placed, make sure you input whatever is the length of the square in this checkerboard, and in this case it is 6 millimeter. If you have a different length, please input appropriate length, and once done with that, click on calibrate. Once the calibration is done, we can see the mean and the max error that we are getting in our field of view. We are also getting a pixel size, so pixel size is 0.0962 millimeter per pixel, and I put in a ruler over here to illustrate what that means. We have 60 millimeters across, and the imagery is 640 pixels across. You take that 60 millimeters, divide by 640 pixels, you get that pixel size. We can store this calibration to the flash, and now this is a global parameter. What I mean by that is, no matter how many reference objects or jobs or recipes you have in your inspector, whatever calibration we have done is going to hold to all those reference objects. So we can do a small test over here. What we can do is we can simply teach the checkerboard that we just did calibrate, insert the blob tool as accurately as we can over those 3 checkboxes, and we can try to look for darker pixels in our blob. Now what we see is we have 3 blobs that are found. They all have a very close y coordinate, but look at their x coordinate. We have one that's at about 0 millimeters. The next one is at about 6 millimeters. So we have this one at 0 millimeters, we have the next one at about 6 millimeters, and the next one at about minus 12 millimeters. So they are all spaced out 6 millimeter between the centroids, which is exactly the length of each of the sides. If you were to insert a line from a polygon tool on each side of this checkerboard, you would get similar results as far as the measurement between the 2 lines. So this is how you would go about calibrating the inspector PI50. Note that you want to calibrate on a plane that is of interest for you and that is focused. So for instance, if your conveyor or surface is at 0 millimeters and your target that you want to measure is at about 100 millimeters, you want to do the calibration at 100 millimeters height surface. So you want to have this checkerboard be placed at 100 millimeters, do the calibration, because that's the plane on which you want the measurement data to be reflected on.